My name's Daniel Kwan. Welcome back to another electric skateboard range test. Today we're going to try the Ownboard W2. This is the final version, not the prototype. Last time I tried out the prototype. A number of changes have been made to the Ownboard W2 and I'm going to go over those. Today's weather is 32 degrees Celsius, pretty hot. My weight today is 73 kilograms, so let's get to it. When I covered the Ownboard W2 prototype 5 months ago, it was okay, but I did come across a few issues. The current iteration of the W2, however, is quite different. Ownboard has not only fixed those issues that I pointed out, they've made several improvements and also made the board more affordable. If you're in the market for an electric skateboard, this one is definitely worth considering. Let's go through the different parts of this board. The W2 uses a 38-inch Vanguard-style deck that's made of bamboo and fiberglass. The amount of flex is similar to the boosted Stealth, but not as springy, if that makes sense. It has less flex than the Ujlaky 3 and more flex than the Backfire G2T. I like it. I think it's stiff enough for higher speeds and flexible enough for a little bit of pumping. The grip tape that comes on the board is this foam-like material that's supposed to help make the ride more comfortable. I'm not sure if I feel a difference, but I also don't have a problem with it. The board does come with regular grip tape if you want to use that instead.
Nice.
The W2 now comes with two sets of wheels, 83 by 52 millimeters in green and 90 by 62 in black. The black wheels have offset cores. Which set of wheels should you use? That depends on your priorities. If you want stronger acceleration and braking, use the smaller wheels. If you want more ride comfort or your roads are really bad, use the bigger wheels. Both sets of wheels come with ceramic bearings already installed. Ceramic bearings tend to cost quite a bit more than steel bearings. Whether or not they perform better is debatable, but they should at least be more water resistant. Both the front and rear trucks have been changed since the prototype. They now use a design that's similar to the very popular Paris V2. But Ownboard has also done something that I haven't seen anywhere else. For both the front and rear trucks, they've added this rubber ring that goes in the kingpin hole between the two bushings. In theory, this rubber ring should add more resistance and make the board feel more stable. I'm not sure if they make a noticeable difference, but I guess they don't hurt either. For me personally, when riding at higher speeds, even with the rubber rings, I had to tighten the rear truck more than I would prefer. So I'm probably still going to change the rear roadside bushing from a cone to a barrel. But that's just me. How you set up your bushings depends on your weight, your experience, and how you want to ride. Like all of Ownboard's electric skateboards, the W2 uses an ESC made by Hobbywing. As far as I know, the W2 is the first board to use dual belt drive motors with the Hobbywing ESC, and the result has been great. The acceleration and braking controls are smooth and accurate, as you would expect from any board using Hobbywing's ESC. The remote is the generic one that comes with most boards that use Hobbywing's ESC. It's a good remote that's ergonomic and intuitive to use. The only problem is that similarly priced competitors have more advanced remotes. For example, the remotes for Ujlaky and Backfire both have displays that show how fast you're going and how far you've traveled. If you don't care about that stuff and you just want a minimalist remote, then you should be happy with this one. I personally like the telemetry displays though. The W2 uses a dual belt drive system with 50/45 motors. I'll just put some additional info on the screen in case they mean anything to you. The belts are 3M, which means they have smaller teeth than the 5M belts, but so far I personally haven't had any problems with the belts slipping. The board comes with 2 extra belts in case you need them. If needed, you can adjust the belt tension by loosening just 2 screws on the motor cover, and the springs inside will bring the motors to roughly the correct position. On the prototype, the springs were way too strong, which made adjustments a bit difficult, but now I think they're just right. If you're not changing belts and you just want to make a minor adjustment to the belt tension, this tensioning system is super convenient. You literally just loosen these 2 screws, adjust the motor position, and tighten the screws again. There are other designs where you have to take things apart and adjust based on trial and error, but on the W2, it's really quick and easy. The wheel pulleys installed on the board are made for ABEC 11 flywheel style cores. That means you can use wheels from ABEC 11, Evolve, Backfire, and any third-party wheels that use the same core. A pair of pulleys for orangutan wheels are also included, so if you have Kegels or Kaguamas or boosted wheels, you can use them as well. The fact that you can use regular longboard wheels is, in my opinion, the biggest advantage of belt drive motors over hub motors. With hub motors, your options for wheels are very limited, and quite frankly, the ride quality sucks in comparison to using actual wheels. One of the benefits of hub motors is that they are quiet, but the belt drive system on the W2 is actually also pretty quiet. It's still louder than hub motors, but with hub motors you get more road noise compared to actual wheels with a lot more urethane. So in this case, I feel like the overall noise is about the same.
That's what I'm trying to avoid. I'm afraid that if I go that way, he'll see me and tell me to stop.
The W2's battery pack is a 9 amp hour 10S3P made up of Samsung 30Q cells. These are considered very good cells with minimal sag, meaning when the battery is low, you still get a decent amount of torque. Today, many different e-skate brands use the 30Q cells, but I think Ownboard was the first brand to start using them in pre-built boards. When I had the W2 prototype, the battery pack was 7.5 amp hours using Samsung 25R cells. The 9 amp hour 30Q battery was supposed to be a more expensive option, but now it's standard, so that's pretty awesome. The battery is not easily swappable. The enclosure is held by 4 screws on the bottom and 3 more screws under the grip tape, so you probably won't be swapping batteries during a ride session. Fortunately, the range on a single charge is really good. The charger's output is 3 amps, so charging the 9 amp hour battery from empty to full should take roughly 3.5 hours. There's a common misconception about belt drive and torque. Many people have this impression that a belt drive system always produces more torque than hub motors, but that's just not true. If you're considering the W2 so that you can get more torque because of the belt drive, you might be disappointed. The torque is not bad, but it's also not better than similarly priced competitors using hub motors. According to Skate Metric, the Ownboard W2 has a slightly slower 5 to 15 mile per hour time than the X-Way X1, Wildgo 3, and Backfire G2T. That doesn't mean that the W2 feels slow. They're all within a difference of only 0.5 seconds. Just be aware that belt drive doesn't necessarily mean more torque. With 83mm wheels, the top speed of the W2 is 42 km per hour. And with the 90mm wheels, it should be around 45 km per hour. So far, I've only used the 83mm wheels. According to the Ride app, I reached 47.9 km per hour, but I'm pretty sure that's not accurate. According to my sport watch, I reached 38.7, and that's just from me casually riding around not knowing how fast I was going, and without trying to hit the top speed. I hope you guys forgive me for not doing so many top speed tests anymore. I mean, these boards just keep on raising their top speeds, while my comfortable speed is still around 25 to 30 km per hour. But if you're concerned about top speed, the manufacturer's spec for top speed is usually pretty accurate, unless you're a heavier person. Just like with torque, another misconception about belt drive is that they always have stronger brakes than hub motors, but in my experience, that doesn't seem to be true. As far as I can tell, the brake strength seems to depend more on how strong the manufacturer wants them to be. The brakes on the W2, in my opinion, are okay. The braking behavior is intuitive and accurate, but it's not as strong as I would like. In most situations and for most people, I think the brakes are strong enough. But if you're a more experienced e-skater, you might prefer stronger brakes. At least I do. This board is 7.5 kilograms, which is on par with other boards this size. If you want the board to be easier to carry when you're not riding it, you can choose to have a built-in handle when you order it. The handle definitely makes the board feel easier to carry, but because it's a hole in the deck, I'm not sure how much that affects the strength of the deck. Some people also don't like the way the handle looks, but it really does make carrying the board more convenient. I don't have a handle on this board, so when I'm not riding it, I normally pull it by holding the front truck. From visually inspecting the board's ESC and battery enclosures, they appear to be very well sealed. There's no gap between the enclosures and the deck when stepping on the board. Also, the bearings are ceramic instead of steel, at least partially, so they should be less prone to rust. I would say this board is very splash-proof. Riding over the occasional puddle should be okay, but I would still avoid getting too much water on it.
Okay, I'm down to one blinking light. I'm still getting a decent speed though. I mean, I don't know how fast I'm going, but it's not that slow.
This board looks like a budget board. The enclosures, in my opinion, are super ugly, and the grip tape design looks like a bad boosted knockoff. But otherwise, I think it's alright. At least there's no excessive branding. On some electric skateboards, the logo is everywhere. But on the W2, there's just one logo on top, and I think they now put one on the bottom as well.
Yeah, I think my top speed is lower than before now, so I should be almost out of power. can actually still move, but I'm back at the studio now. Blinking light. But let's see how much power is left. 0. Okay. Watch says 32.26 kilometers.
According to my watch, I got 32 kilometers. Keep in mind I was riding in the city, so there was a lot of stopping and going, and I mostly stayed below 30 kilometers per hour. Range can vary a lot depending on your weight, road conditions, how you're riding, etc. For a 9 amp hour battery, the range I got on this board is around what I expected. On a board with a 6 amp hour battery, I would expect somewhere around 20 kilometers. Compared to other boards that I have that are this size and around the same price, the Ownboard W2 has a really high capacity battery. Overall, I really like this board, and I think it's a great value. The fact that it's belt driven means you can use actual longboard wheels on both the front and back. That by itself is a huge advantage over any board using hub motors. This board includes 2 sets of wheels in different sizes, and 2 different sets of pulleys to give you a bunch of options from popular third-party wheels. The 9 amp hour battery that comes standard gives you more range than this board's closest competitors. If you're considering this board as a cheap alternative to a boosted board, the Ownboard W2 has less torque, less braking strength, less refinement, probably less customer support, but way more range. As for the ride experience, I think they're pretty similar, and you can always change the wheels, bushings, and front truck to customize the ride to how you want. There's a lot of room for improvement, but even so, this board is one of my favorites right now. I hope this has been helpful. Leave a comment if you have any thoughts or questions. See you next time!